Morning and welcome to Nafpaktos. This is a fantastic Greek seaside town. It has everything. It has beaches, two beaches. It has castles. It has history. It has a fantastic port. It has maybe 15 or 16 hotels. Very, very popular with people going to Delphi, I think, to stop off on the way from the Peloponnese. So let's have a look round. Let's enjoy. Let's see what it's all about. So from up here, we get a fantastic look at the fortified harbour and the two beaches. A beach on the left here. You can see it down here. And also, if we scroll round to the right, obviously in the distance we have the Peloponnese and the Gulf of Corinth. On the right here, we have another beach. And in the distance, we have the Rio-Antirio bridge. Maybe you can see it there in the distance. This place is very, very popular with tourists because it acts as a stop-off point between Patras and the Peloponnese and Delphi. And if you're going that way, this is a fantastic place to spend a night or two. You can see it's a relatively large town. There are about 10,000 residents here. And then up on the hill here, we have a fantastic castle, one of the most beautiful castles apparently in Greece, Byzantine castle, built about 1407. But there was fortification here from Hellenic times, from about 440 BC, according to the pottery found here. Now, having walked around this town a bit already, and as I said, filmed already, it reminds me of Nafplio, a very small Nafplio, 5 or 6 times the size. But you have a castle on the hill. You have, as we've seen, a fortified harbour. You have Venetian architecture mixed in with Ottoman mosques and so on. You can see perhaps down there the dome of a mosque. What this town does have, however, which Nafplio doesn't really have, are these two beaches. And we'll go and have a quick look at them. Maybe a bit dreary today, but I still think if you're coming in here on holiday, you're going to want to know about the beaches. So here we are now down at the harbour. You can see beautiful, heavily fortified, very small little harbour, surrounded unfortunately by this fence because they're rebuilding, as maybe you can see, the harbour wall at the moment. But what made this place so important? Why was it fought over?
The history of Nafpaktos is as much about European history as it is about local history. Yes, they fought in the Greek War of Independence. Yes, they were heroes. They were liberated in 1829. But before that, this place was called Lepanto. And Lepanto was the Ottoman and Venetian name for Nafpaktos. And it was incredibly famous because, and important, because of a battle that occurred off the coast here due to the geographic location of this town.
Coming down through this arch, we'll talk about the statue on the right in a minute. You'll see why this place is so important. And there's a nice guy doing his fishing down here. That's what I'd do, I think, in the morning, if I was relaxed and not doing this. But here we are. You can see over here the Rio-Antirio bridge. It's a very narrow gap over there, and that is a gap into what is the Gulf of Corinth, which essentially takes you down to Corinth and almost to Athens. And this place, Nafpaktos, you can see the sea wall here, was key to controlling it. That's why this place was so heavily fought over. And what happened here on October the 7th, 1571, was that there was an enormous naval battle here between the what they refer to as the pan-European forces, really the southern European papal forces, Spain, Italy, France, etc. They came together here and they had a battle against the Ottoman navy, which they won. And it was a very famous individual who fought in that battle simply as a sailor. He wasn't an admiral or anything, he was a sailor. So, down by this rather fun harbour, we have this little statue to Miguel di Cervantes. And he was a Spanish gentleman who came here October the 7th, 1571, as a sailor and fought in the battle. But he was also very famous for writing a book called Don Quixote. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And there's a little statue to him here, celebrating the fact that he came here. And he survived, obviously. Well, I stayed here last night. We stayed in an excellent hotel, Battle of Lepanto. I can highly recommend it. It's only 2 minutes walk from here. Lovely little boutique hotel. And as you see, we went out. It was brilliant. Around the harbour here in particular and in the main square, and the main square is up here, it was really vibrant and really lively. Yes, it was a holiday, so perhaps it was a little bit busier, but we're talking here mid-March. We're not talking about the summer. You can imagine in the summer, this place is going to be heaving. But I mentioned the square. Let's go and have a very quick look at the square, which is located just up past the harbour here, because I think it's a lovely square as well. Now, as well as the history in the harbour, you also have a lot, as I said, of bars and restaurants. You've seen them in the nightlife. but they're also available during the day, obviously. And you have a lot of shops. This is quite an upmarket place. They aren't really cheap shops, but they're quite unique. They're very much independent. Yes, you have United Colours of Benetton here, but most of the shops that I've seen are very independent clothes shops, in particular a few tourist shops. As I said, it's a little bit like Nafplio, if you know Nafplio. But the shops here are open in the evening as well as during the day. And I'd highly recommend just walking around them, because even if you're not going to spend, you will see goods and services which perhaps you wouldn't see elsewhere. Well worth your time. I just want to come back out this arch to the Gulf of Corinth, because actually I mentioned the beach, and here is the first of the two beaches. And you can see it's a fantastic beach. Beautiful beach. I'm going to hop down, so I apologise for that. Oof, a bit of a jump actually. Stoney, but not big pebbles, quite pleasant. But you can see organised beach, a little bit quiet at the moment, obviously, but it would be in the summer very, very, very busy and very popular. This is one of the reasons why this place is so popular, because not only is it on the way to Delphi, not only does it have all this fantastic history around us, and the Venetian town, and the restaurants, and the shops, but it has this beach. And then on the other side, it has another beach. So we'll just go and look at that quickly as well. So exploring the back streets just off the harbour here, we come across the mosque I mentioned earlier. I now know it was built in 1499 to celebrate the victory over the Venetians by the Sultan and the Ottomans. And he built this mosque 1499, as I said, the castle was built in 1407, and they didn't lose it again until the War of Independence. But you can see up here, there are nice restaurants. We actually ate in this place, Morthis, on the left here, or Borthis. I think that's a more appropriate pronunciation. Very nice, a little bit expensive, but nice. And I think that would sum up Nafpaktos for me. I mean, we've got a very good hotel deal here. It's March, it's off season. I imagine in the summer, there are lots of hotels here, as I said, at least 15 on TripAdvisor, but it's quite expensive. The restaurants are quite expensive. The shops are quite expensive, but you come here for a night, there's plenty to do, plenty to see, and I would highly, highly recommend it. So walk 200-300 meters east of the harbour. The harbour's just round there, and you come to the second beach. And this one is of a different character to the one we've just looked at. This one, yes, it has some pebbles on it, but it's predominantly sand. Sand, obviously, that gets everywhere. But you can see you have a choice here. You have a pebble beach or you have a sand beach. And again, this one is a long beach. But you have a pick of beaches here. So this, as you can see, is a fantastic place. Would I recommend it for a week? Maybe yes, it's particularly if you've got small children. But I think this is ideal for a night or two to explore the town, to enjoy the beaches, and then go on somewhere else. If you're traveling around Greece, if you like exploring like I do, this is a great place to stop off at. I hope you've got a feel for Nafpaktos. It's a fantastic place. I'm going to drive for 3.5 or so hours back to Athens now. But as a gateway between the Peloponnese and the northern mainland of Greece, it's ideal for a stop off a night, maybe 2 nights. If you're going over the Rio-Antirio bridge, it's no distance, it's 10 kilometers. Come here, enjoy this history, enjoy this beautiful town, the beaches, the hospitality, the restaurants, the bars are great at night, I have to tell you. So I hope you found it useful. Please watch some of my other videos. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe as well. And I look forward to making videos for you and showing you other places in Greece. Thank you for watching.